And welcome to MASN All Access, now joined by Orioles' new general manager, Mike Elias. Mike, what's going on? How are you?
Very good, thanks. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So, as of now, this is really your first winter meetings as a general manager. How is it?
Well, the winter meetings is always exciting. It's just the buzz, the atmosphere in the air. Everyone in the whole baseball universe is here. You see a lot of friends, you see a lot of activity, but certainly coming into a new position, new organization, having so much to do, it's been a whirlwind.
Mike, you have your hands extremely full, obviously with a lot of situations, but last night we saw it all over MLB Network that the Orioles were going to hire Brandon Hyde as the next manager. What's the latest on that?
So that report was premature. These are complicated processes, these managerial searches, and they're careful processes. And I'm being very careful with these processes for a number of reasons. But I feel really good about where we are in the process. I feel really good about where I expect things will head. I feel good about our options, but we're still in the process of choosing a manager.
2 days ago, you said there was 6 managerial candidates. Have you narrowed it down any more?
I don't want to get into specifics about that. I have an idea of more likely outcomes than others, but I don't want to specify whether any candidates have been informed of the list narrowing.
That being said, is there any timetable when the Orioles will announce the next manager?
As soon as possible. This is on the forefront of my plate right now. We're getting pretty deep into the winter, and we also have a major league coaching staff to fill out. So we're doing this as fast as we can. We're kind of cognizant of the clock and where we are, but it is an important hire, and these are complicated processes with a hire this big. So there's only so fast we can go.
A few of the names mentioned, some of the candidates had no managerial experience, especially in the big leagues. Is it important that if you hired someone with no managerial experience, the coaching staff under them would be a veteran, someone that has managerial experience?
Well, experience is great. I don't think it is a requisite that a certain person on the major league staff have managerial experience, but it would be nice to have that somewhere on the staff, maybe in the manager's position as well. But I will yield to the manager's discretion on these positions because I want him to have a functional staff, a staff with good chemistry. I want him to feel comfortable with the people around him. So it'll depend on who the manager is.
You and Sig Medell, who's here and will join the show later, are really big on analytics. Is it important that your coaching staff it's important to them to implement analytics in their game every single day?
Yeah, we want our coaches and our players to be as well informed as possible. And so many teams now are using so much information that's derived from data or from all the technology that's exploding around the game. And there are good ways to use that info, and a modern coach's job nowadays is to figure out the best way to translate that information to the players in a way that each particular player can use and understand, in a way that's not overwhelming for the players.
You were previously with the Astros, and they heavily credit you to drafting players like Correa and Alex Bregman. What's your draft strategy with the Orioles, because you do have the #1 overall pick next year?
Well, it sounds cliche, but you always try to take the best player you possibly can with the #1 overall pick. I do have some ideas in mind. We have some players that we are targeting already at this point. But speaking from experience, that list tends to evolve throughout the spring. People will be added to the list. People will drop off the list. But I do feel good about the choices that I know are already out there.
I know it went to the deadline, but you did not tender a contract to Caleb Joseph. Is there any scenario where you could see bringing back Caleb Joseph as a catcher? Because it seems with a young pitching staff, you normally want a veteran catcher.
Definitely. We like Caleb a lot. He's been great here. He's been an Orioles whole career. This is a business, and the tender deadline sometimes comes down to dollars and cents, but we are keeping a conversation open with him all winter. We hope for a good outcome for him, whether that's somewhere else or with us, and hopefully maybe it is with us, but we'll just keep those conversations going.
Yesterday when I talked to you about trading veterans, because you have a few pitchers especially on the roster that are due quite some money over time. One, for example, is Alex Cobb, 3 years left, $43 million. You said you had ongoing conversations with different teams about some veterans on the team. How open are you to moving guys like Alex Cobb or Andrew Kashner?
Well, I like Cobb a lot. I like Kashner a lot. I'm glad they're on the team. I'm glad they're in the rotation. They're two of our better pitchers. We need rotation help. They're stabilizing forces. They're veterans. They're good influences on a lot of the younger pitchers that we're going to have coming up. But every front office nowadays is always flexible and open-minded and listening, and there are just constant monitoring of the activities of other clubs, especially during the winter meetings that happen. But nothing beyond that. We're happy they're on the team. We're looking forward to having them back.
first and foremost, it's a manager, and next you always talk about the scouting department. What's the latest on that? How important is it and crucial for the organization to build that up?
It is. We can and will add to our scouting capabilities, both domestically and internationally, over the coming years. It's again, we're in a point in the baseball calendar where most teams' staffs are kind of settled, and it's a difficult time to just run out and do everything you'd like to do all at once. I'm also very busy with other hires and getting adapted to the organization and dealing with normal off-season issues with the roster. So it's on my radar screen, but I don't have a timetable for any major scouting hires at this time.
Final thoughts. Brady Anderson has been in the organization for a long time. You've brought in a lot of your own guys here to join the Orioles. What's the latest on him, and how do you plan to use him, if at all, within the organization?
Well, he's helpful. He's been here a long time. He's played here a long time. He knows the players well. He's got a lot of knowledge about the game, about mechanics, about strength and conditioning. He's a good resource in that regard. As with other employees that have been here and continue to be here, I'm working very well with them, and it's been good so far. So we'll look forward to continuing that relationship.
All right, Mike Elias, thank you so much.
Thanks.